Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be looking at the Hyundai Santa Fe Calligraphy. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Murdoch Hyundai here in Linden, Utah for giving me some time with this Santa Fe. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. I'm also going to include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood we have a turbocharged 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic. It's a dual clutch to be exact. Fuel economy is 20 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 277 horsepower and then 311 pound-feet of torque. So before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, starting with the front end, I love the H pattern there on the headlights. I think it's really cool. Obviously, it's a Hyundai, hence the H. And then you can see here with this intricate design, and then also continues down below. It looks pretty cool, but yeah, overall, the calligraphy package, they keep it pretty simple. Now, on the side here, our steering wheel setup is 245 by 45 by 21 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels, a little bit fancy, a little bit more upscale, that whole setup. And then we've got the fender flares that are painted. I like how the mirror caps are as well, and then same thing with the door handles. And if we take a few steps back, got a nice old side profile. Now taking a look at the key fob, we have our lock and unlock function, we got the remote start function, and there's even more. We've got the self park, we got the opening for the hatch. So Jetson looking key fob with lots of features. Now taking a look at the rear, you can see with the third row folded down, you've got tons of storage space. If you have the third row folded up, it's quite a bit smaller. We've got vents for the third row passengers. We've got USB port. You also have some cup holders there as well. They do have some window action in the back too, so that helps out with making it feel a little bit more open, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, when you look at that, they can kind of adjust the climate too, which is fun. Now when it comes to space here in the third row, again, this is a mid-size crossover, so you're going to have a third row that's good for kids. Adults, you can fit them back there, but it's going to be a little bit more cramped, so you typically reserve it for the kiddos. And then here's for the seats. It's another nice feature. And when you're all done, just press this button up here, and that will lower the hatch right back down. Now here at the back, you can see the H pattern there on the tail lights. You can see the Santa Fe logo and everything. So this is the part of the Santa Fe that a lot of people say they don't like, is the back end. Here is my suggestion for Hyundai. Just like what Land Rover has done with the new Defender that's a unibody SUV, put the spare tire on the back like an old school off-roader, because this already has the boxy design. So if they just added the spare tire to the back, it would have that kind of like off-road Jeep kind of look, and I think a lot of people would actually like this style. But let me know your thoughts on that. And this leads us inside. So you guys can see soft touch here at the top. Got the sunshade here for the rear passengers. This is cool, by the way. And you got more of that trim down below. And then here are the seats in the second row. Pretty fancy with this calligraphy package. They are power adjustable too. Ooh. Popping in, legroom back here, it's pretty good. Got a little storage pocket. Got some vents here in the back. You can access the center console from the rear. Dangerous, right? USB port. And then with the box design, you've got good headroom. And then we do have a sunroof here for the back passengers, which is nice. And popping up front, this is actually green here at the top. It's probably just gonna look black on camera, but it's got kind of like a green tint. Then you can see with the trim down below, kind of reminds me of how some of the new houses have their interiors set up. We've got all of the window controls here. The mirrors do power fold in. Got memory seats, blind spot monitoring as well. And then here are the front seats. They have the lounge function. You can see that button right there with this, which is kind of cool. And then again, you can see more of that trim on the dash. And this is cool with the design. Again, it feels very upscale. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, it's got that two-tone theme, so it's dark on the outside, lighter on the interior. Paddle shifters there on the back. We got practical controls in the front, including voice command controls, adaptive cruise control, lane centering, all of that. And then you've got a traditional stock setup on the back for the most part, except we also have a column shifter too. And then here's the gauge cluster. You guys can see there is quite a bit of glare with the gauge cluster. There's one downside about these fully digital, with how they have them set up on these kind of like tablet-like screens on the dash. You don't have a thing to cover it, kind of like old school gauge clusters. But anyways, you can see different bits of information there. And then also we've got the whole drive mode setup. Doesn't really change anything with the animation. Obviously just changes how the car drives. 360 camera system with this, and got this cool exterior view with it as well. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, quick response time. It's easy to use. Ooh, I accidentally clicked on something. Didn't mean to do that. Good thing we got physical buttons to save us. If we go to the seats tab here, you guys can see here with all the adjustments and everything. It's cool, just all the adjustability you have. I don't know if this like greenish color is going to pop up on camera very well here. We also have a heads-up display there as well. And then I like the double glove box setup, kind of like a Range Rover. So even stitching on the outside. It's kind of cool. Yeah, you got the bottom glove box, so plenty of storage. Bunch of controls in this little center area. So we've got our dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats, radio controls there at the top, and then down below you got like your drive mode select, your auto hold, hill descent control there as well. And again, it's hard to see because of the light and it's not too much glare in this area, but this is like so bright below it. Oh, and it has the little UVC thing for the, I think it's for the glove box if I remember right, to clean it. USB ports, charging pad setup. We've got 2 wireless phone charging pads. That's nice. Got some cup holders. Center console here. Feels very sturdy when you close it. You guys probably noticed the H pattern on the vents, just like on the headlight, by the way. Got a camera rear view mirror. Premium headliner. It's very soft to the touch. And then you have another sunroof up front. So we got 2 sunroofs. So here's a quick look at the window sticker. You can see 2025 Santa Fe Calligraphy. $50,425 is the total MSRP on this. Don't want to back into another calligraphy. Okay, there we go. Let's see how it drives. Let us set off. I guess we'll talk about visibility quickly. It's good because it's a box. It's relatively big windows. Dual clutch, very interesting. Oh, and I forgot to mention the center console has like more storage space underneath. I always forget to mention that because it's just out of sight when I'm filming. But yeah, very interesting car. One thing that I will say that I think is a little bit of a downside with this being a dual clutch and turbocharged and a 4-cylinder. So turbocharged engines, right, you're gonna have a little bit of turbo lag. Dual clutch, you get what I call gear lag, right? I don't know what else to call it, but basically what dual clutch is, right, you've got the 2 sets of clutches with the different gears, and the reason why they're so quick to shift is because they can just go from set to set to set to set, right? So it's super quick with the gear shifts, but the initial grabbing of the clutch always takes longer than what you have with like a torque converter automatic. So you've got like lag there, and then you got turbo lag, and then 4-cylinders are always the most laggy out of all the turbocharged engines, and so it's like you got all that compounded. So this is a car that I almost feel like I would want a pedal commander with it. Usually I don't really care for that, but this, yeah, I think I'd want one. But aside from that, it's smooth. See, it does have a little lip here. And suspension's pretty darn comfortable. And I will say, once you're up and moving, the powertrain's very smooth. Got good torque. Sport mode. I will say, I really like this interior. I'm not so sure about the green. In the sunlight, it just kind of looks black, right? Because it kind of like whitewashes it. But when you're in the shade, you can see the green, and it almost looks like something that you might see in your baby's diaper if they ate crayons or something. Let's get on it here. Yeah, it's quick. It's pretty quick. So it's not a rocket ship by any means, but I mean, for the segment, it's more than quick enough. Again, I think this is special in this segment for a couple reasons. It actually has power. A lot of vehicles in this segment have like no power. And then it has a third row. And again, a lot of vehicles in this segment have no third row. So this kind of has the best of both. That, yeah, the competition, it ain't competing, right? So to sum things up with the Santa Fe Calligraphy, also turn signal camera. It's another feature I always forget to mention when I'm doing a walk around. We'll get better with time, hopefully, right? I think this is a really cool car. I like what this has going for it. It's not my favorite package on the Santa Fe personally. I mean, it's really nice, but I do kind of lean more towards that XRT, even though it doesn't have as many features. I just like the looks of it. And XRT is more affordable because it doesn't have as many features. But yeah, it's kind of like a, well, I'll call a pseudo luxury SUV. This does an amazing job. You get into this, and then you get into anything else in the segment. I don't care what it is. Whether you look at a Toyota, a Honda, a Nissan, any of those, and you're gonna feel like you're going from a luxury car into not a luxury car. It's a really substantial difference. Like, Hyundai has stepped up their game massively in terms of just how refined their cars are. And so if you want that luxury car experience, but you don't want to pay the luxury car price tag, and you want a lot of value in terms of the fact this has a third row, and it also has all these features, it's a solid place. So let me know what you guys think about the Santa Fe, and let me know what you think about my idea with the spare tire on the back. I think they should put the spare, especially on the XRT, at least on the XRT trim, put the darn spare tire on the back. And I promise you, and they just have to figure out how to make it so the lift gate works power wise, which, yeah, good luck on that, because spare tires are pretty heavy. So if Hyundai figures that out, I think that they would sell more of these, because you get a lot of people that just want like the looks of like a Jeep or something, but they don't want to drive a Jeep because they don't drive that well. I know that because I own one. Anyways, that's all.